had an opportunity to drive a 2024 Subaru Ascent. Now this is in the touring trim, and I have a full video that I did on the 2023 model, and basically going over all the features, pushing all the buttons and everything. But now I spend more time with it, checking it out, and just as a refresher here, to show you what it's all about. It's a 3-row SUV. This one's got the brown interior, looking nice. It's an all-wheel drive system, Subaru. This one has the captain's chairs, and then the third row is actually pretty decent back here. Seats are quite a ways off the floor. But yeah, the Ascent is pretty popular because we have a really good all-wheel drive system with a Subaru. There's a usable amount of space for a third row vehicle. So even though it's not like this huge vehicle, it does have a decent third row, and it has a lot of functionality there. It's relatively efficient, I guess, with the fuel economy. One of the cool things about this vehicle is the camera system. It has this top-down view that you can look at when you're pulling into a parking space or just general low speeds. You can look at this. Now if you hit the camera button, again, you can have the front there, like the front on each side. It removes the car and just shows you what's there on the sides there in the front. When I turn the steering wheel, you can see the wheels, hopefully you can see that, wheels moving. And so you can get a razor sharp view of right there beside the vehicle. And then we still have the top down view here. If we hit the button down here again, it gives us the full front view, and then a top down view there. And then we can hit the button again, it makes the camera go away. When we put it in reverse, we have these different views. The parking sensor is active, we have the top down, and we also have the reverse camera. But once again, we can hit the camera button, have the full view, top down view, and we can kind of cycle through the different views there. Overall, the screen, it has a little bit of a learning curve, but I think most people will be able to handle it, no problem. And it's not overly complex. It's just a little bit, the flow of the software and how you use it is, I think could be improved, I guess. Has this top part right here that you can swipe through and have different information at the top. And then you can have the climate control there at the bottom, and then the center part is for everything else. Navigation map is here. And basically it starts off with this view, and then when you hit the expand, it just expands up to the top. But when we're in the 3D view, all it is, it just like shows the sky. So if we go into a top-down view, we're able to see a larger portion of the map when we're in that. So that's good. I like these little shelves right here. You have one right there, and it's a wide open place to just put stuff. When you get in the vehicle, it's like a little shelf. And it's real easy to set it there and also not forget it because it's right there in front of you. It's still visible. It's not like an enclosed pocket or a glove compartment, that kind of thing. But the only thing about this one is that it's hard plastic on the bottom. So whatever you put in there, sliding back and forth while you're driving. Same thing with right here. Right here is a really nice handy spot that you can put something, and it reminds yourself to take it with you because it's right there. And on the door, so when you get out, you're like, oh yeah, I need to take my phone or whatever you want to put in there. Now the phone's not a big deal, but other things just slide around in there because it's hard plastic at the bottom. And then we still have that little compartment right here as well. So it's like a hard plastic. If that was rubberized in there, that would be so much better, because as you're driving, things sliding around in that is just really annoying. So like this compartment right here has a rubber bottom, so it's perfect for that purpose. So it kind of looks like a wireless cell phone charger place, but there's no wireless cell phone charger or anything like that. Now it does have the USB-C and regular USBs there. Auxiliary input, that's kind of interesting. A lot of vehicles did away with the auxiliary input since people typically use the Bluetooth system. This vehicle also has the cabin talk. So once you turn it on here on the system, Cabin Connect is what they call it on this one, it will project your voice to the people in the far back, so you don't have to holler at them. Another cool thing is it has this little mirror that pops down like so. You can see somebody back there. You can also talk to them, that kind of thing. This is also a sunglass holder here as well. And the rear view camera system. So instead of the backup camera, in addition to that, we have a rear view camera. So we also have a rear view mirror. It's auto dimming and all that. But the rear view camera is very useful because if you can see here on the camera, well, the mirror can't really tell, but yeah, the visibility back there with all the seats and everything, cargo and passengers, is going to be a little bit limited. So having that rear view camera bypasses all that and gives you a direct view behind the vehicle. Also, where the camera is placed, when you turn on the rear wiper, it swipes past the camera lens, because the camera is behind the glass, and keeps that area clean. So if this gets a little bit dirty or whatever, or fogged up, you could just use the rear wiper and clean that off. So all good right there. One thing that Subaru has done with the eyesight cameras up here is they've cupped them to the glass. So in prior years they had them open and it would get, catch reflections off the dash or whatever. So this kind of like cups it, keeps that from happening, any kind of glare or anything affecting the system. This little thing sticking up right here, it's actually a camera and a IR infrared illuminator, which shines on, basically like aims directly at your face and keeps an eye on you. And I turned the system off, and it shows right here off, because it is a driver monitoring system. So if it thinks you're not paying attention to the road, it starts giving you all these alerts and stuff like that. It was becoming a little bit annoying. So this vehicle does have some annoying things, that a lot of beeping and stuff like that. A lot of that I had to turn off in the system because it's just getting excessive. The only thing I can't turn off is the seatbelt warning. So the seatbelt warning, if you like move in the parking lot, it starts beeping, and then even if you're like put it in park and everything, it still is beeping at you until you put your seatbelt on. So it's yeah, there's some beeping going on. Let's just put it that way on this vehicle. It seems like not just this brand, a lot of other brands have this problem where the cars are becoming nannies and just all the features they just kind of drive you crazy, So if you can turn it off in the settings, a lot of vehicles you can turn all these little nanny features off in the settings. But at the same time, it's a feature that you're paying for and you have it, but if it's not implemented to where it's implemented in a way that's to where it's annoying you, then you're paying for something that you're just going to ultimately just turn off anyway. Let me know what you think about this brown interior. I think it looks really good. Got heated and vented seats up here, and you got that combination of that simulated wood grain black and then the brown. I think the interior looks good. Looks good, feels good. It's overall a pretty comfortable vehicle to drive in general. So I'm going to accelerate from a standstill so you can see what the CVT is all about. So it keeps the RPMs up, and it basically has a little bit of a wave to it, kind of like simulated shifts in a way, but more like a waviness to it. It's not really holding it like some CVT systems. But it does a decent job of accelerating. A vehicle this size and everything, it's okay. It's not really made to be going really fast from a standstill, but it does have a decent acceleration. What I've noticed with the cruise control system is there's a couple things. One is the lane keep assist system. The other thing is the adaptive cruise control. So it sets the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. And when you turn it on, you have to turn on the system, then you set it. So it's 2 steps in order to do that. And you have to do that each time you start the vehicle. Now, it has the eyesight system. So it has 2 cameras up here, and it triangulates the view in front of the vehicle to basically know the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. And it has the adjustments here, and I like the way it has 2 buttons. But it tends to be kind of like just focused on what's directly in front of the vehicle. So if there's a sharp turn, then there's a vehicle in front of you. It just disregards that car because now the curve makes it to where it doesn't see the car anymore. So it just kind of floors it, accelerates if you have the, depending on what you have, the the cruise control set at. So like if you had it set at 55, somebody's slow poke in front of you going 45. Well, on a sharp turn, it basically doesn't see the car anymore. It starts flooring it until you get really close to the car. Then all of a sudden it rapidly slows back down because now it sees the car again. So I think that the eyesight system should take into consideration turns. Even like a turn like this, it's not very sharp, but it does have the potential to do that at times. Another thing is the lane keep assist system. It shows a little green arrow showing you that it sees the road, and it is, basically, and it beeps at you a lot. So if you go close to the line or over the line, it'll beep at you. But basically, the lane keep assist system is a little bit of robotic. It doesn't feel smooth at times. There's times in which it's kind of fights with you a little bit, and I don't know, it doesn't have a smoothness to it. It wants to go this way and this way and this way and this way to keep you in the lane a lot of times. So, it's a little frustrating, and typically I just turn it off because, especially if you have somebody in the car that is a little bit gets car sick, the sloshing back left and right constantly with the system, even I'm trying to fight against it, and then it's still kind of doing that. Also, the not seeing car in front of you forward and then slowing down, then it tends to make people car sick when there's constantly this side motion and forward motion and stuff like that. Not to mention it's a one of those vehicles that's a little bit on the heavy side. It has a high center of gravity, so it's kind of like amplifies the bounces of the road. It's just the nature of the vehicle, but the system should be a little bit smoothed out. The less robotic on the steering, and take into consideration for the turns in the road, so it always sees the vehicle in front of you, even if there's a turn, curve, and so that way it's not like don't see the car, then all of a sudden flooring it and then slapping on the brakes. Overall, driving the vehicle, it does have a decent ride quality. It's better than a lot of other like 3-row SUV type vehicles. It does have a decent ride quality, but the nature of the vehicle, it kind of sloshes around a little bit because it has this little bit of height to it, and the weight is, the center of gravity is high, so there's imperfections in the road. It's going to amplify those a little bit, but I was kind of impressed. I mean, the Subaru has impressed me a lot with their ride quality on their vehicles. Getting in and start driving it, it's like, what, this is actually pretty good. It's kind of surprising. It's kind of surprising that the ride quality here, and especially here recently, the vehicles I've been driving from Subaru has been a positive experience overall. Now this one has a little bit of wind noise, a little bit of road noise here and there. It's not like super duper quiet or anything, but it hasn't been an issue, and the engine is fairly quiet too. So unless you're really revving it, then you don't really hear the engine. Like some brands, like when the engine's on, you can hear it, all the time, and yeah, I guess to be annoying, but yeah, there's a lot of positives about this vehicle. Right, as far as just the ride quality, the noise level, the acceleration is okay. It's not like the fastest vehicle, but it's not slow either. It's kind of in that middle road. The fuel economy seems a little low. I mean, I guess, I would have to like side by side compare other vehicles, but it seems like it's on the low side. I've been getting, like 2021, and that just seems a little bit low for the type of vehicle it is and everything, and the power delivery and the amount of room and the size and weight of the vehicles just seems a little bit low. And I drive pretty easy. I usually get higher than rated. If you need all-wheel drive and you need a third row vehicle, and you can handle the price, you like Subaru, you like the way this vehicle looks, and it's roomy enough for you, and you can handle the fuel economy, then I would think this would be definitely an option, because the all-wheel drive system on Subarus is, people rely on it all the time, especially in winter situations and stuff like that. So even though this isn't really an off-road vehicle or anything, but the roads get slippery, and so like this vehicle with winter tires on it, it's going to be It's going to be much better than a lot of other options there with the Subaru all-wheel drive system.